Well, first of all, I do pay a lot of tax.
Yep.
So, in fact, I set a record for the most amount of taxes ever paid by by a human.
That's also because you're the world's richest man.
Well, even before that. So, my guess is that I will pay many trillions in tax, and I'm fine with that. Um, so, yeah, that's just the way it's going to be. But I don't think in a future where money's relevant, I think
Yeah.
taxation also
And,
becomes somewhat irrelevant.
and what about giving people
What's up, family? So today we're going to break this down, look at it from a few different angles, and then I'll give you my thoughts. So Elon Musk sat down with the editor-in-chief of The Economist, this woman named Zanny Pedos, and she came at him with the standard media playbook. Called them far right, called them racist, tried to pin them down as some dangerous extremists. And Elon, man, he handled it like the grown-up in the room. He didn't scream, he didn't lose his cool. He just asked her a simple question that completely exposed how ridiculous the whole label game has become. And she's sitting there trying to accuse him of supporting the far right. And Elon looks at her and says, "What do you call the far right?" And before she could even get her talking points together, he laid it out: secure borders, safe cities, sensible spending. That's it. That's what they call far right now. And he asked her straight up, which one of those sounds terrible to you? And she couldn't answer because she knows that none of that is extreme. That's just common sense. That's stuff your granddaddy believed, right? Your grands, your grandparents, you know? And that's stuff Democrats used to believe before they went off on the deep end. And Elon wasn't done. Now, here's where it gets interesting, right? Real interesting. Elon pointed out something that I've been saying for a minute. You can take a speech from Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton from 2007 or 2008 and play it for someone on the far left today, and they'll call it a Trump speech. They'll call it a far right. They'll call it racist, right? Don't take my word for it. I'll show you.
This is not going to be a free ride. It's not going to be some instant amnesty. What's going to happen is you are going to pay a significant fine. You are going to learn English. You are going to go to the back of the line so that you don't get ahead of somebody who was in Mexico City applying legally. But after you've done these things over a certain period of time, you can earn your citizenship, so that it's not something that is guaranteed or automatic. You've got to earn it, but over time, you give people an opportunity. Now, it only works, though, if you do all the pieces. I think the American people, they appreciate and believe in immigration, but they can't have a situation where you just have 500,000 people pouring over the border without any kind of mechanism to control it. So we've got to deal with that at the same time as we deal in a humane fashion with folks who have put down roots here, have become our neighbors, have become our friends. They may have children who are U.S. citizens. That's the kind of comprehensive approach that we have to take.
Should you have a system where people can come to this country, even if they're well-to-do, get on Medicaid and give birth to a baby and then go back? The answer is no. And we know that Medicaid laws are being used and abused to do just this in the state of California. I'd like to see that stopped. About 13% of the California prison population, costing close to $300 million a year, are illegal aliens. I've had judges in Los Angeles and Orange County tell me 1/2 of their criminal dockets are illegal aliens. Presently, a convicted illegal alien has the option of serving their sentence in California or being returned to their country of origin. I think that option ought to be removed.
Broken borders. That's an oxymoron, something we can't tolerate. Borders, of their nature, our definition as a nation and our protection as a country. Broken borders, they don't exist. We can't tolerate them. So let's say from the start that we all in this body, and I know I can speak very firmly for the Democrats, support strong border control, and it must be part, and the first part, of any comprehensive immigration reform. It is our obligation as elected officials to keep the American people safe, and our borders are our first line of defense, one of our early lines of defense to do that. Democrats support also enforcing laws, current laws, against those who came here illegally and those who hire illegal immigrants. Yet the Bush administration has refused to do just this. Imagine that for all of this talk about illegal immigration to the United States and going after those workers who are working here illegally, and we should, but we also must have employer sanctions. Where are these people working? Why are we not enforcing the law against employers who hire illegal, undocumented people here? The Bush administration has prosecuted only 3 employer-sanctioned cases in the last fiscal year. Only 3 cases. When, yes, when are we going to take this issue seriously?
Not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens. In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace, as recommended by the commission headed by former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must do more to stop it.
Republicans, they don't even allow your driver's license to be used as a way to be able to vote for your mayor, for your county commissioners, for your state senators, House members, governors, presidents, doing everything you can do to ensure that your unpopular party can somehow figure out a way to win in the fall. It's not going to work. It's absolutely outrageous.
The Democratic legislature has actually passed a bill out of committee that allows illegal immigrants to get a California's driver's license. That's right. And by giving these criminals the most accepted form of identification in America, the California Democrats buy votes for themselves, and it looks like, to me at least, that political gamemanship is trumping national security. As illegal immigrants are given a free pass, this plan seems to me to legitimize illegal immigration once and for all. And it's dangerous.
So there you have it, family. They'll call it far right. They'll call it racist. And they have no idea they're listening to their own former leaders. You heard it. From Clinton from 2007 or 2008, you heard Obama's speech. You heard Nancy Pelosi, Morning Joe back in 2003 that just played. And that's how far the goalposts have moved. That's how much the Democratic Party and the media have shifted. So you got these journalists, these editors, these people who control the narrative, sitting up there with straight faces, calling people far right for wanting borders, for wanting safe streets, for not wanting the government to waste your tax money. And the craziest part, she actually tried to tell Elon that London is safer than any city in America. She tried to downplay the grooming gangs, the rape gangs that the UK government itself admitted to. And now I'm not literally directly laughing at it because it's a horrendous, it's horrible for London, but in an ironic, sarcastic way. I played that sound effect because the simple fact is to say London is safer than any city in America. And UK government itself admitted to over 250,000 potential victims, young girls being trafficked and abused. And she's sitting there saying it's not that big of a deal. That's not just dishonest, family. That's evil. That's telling victims their pain doesn't matter because acknowledging it will hurt your political narrative. And this is where the bigger conversation comes in, because this woman, Zanny Pedos, tried to accuse Elon of painting a dystopian picture of Europe. Said he was being irresponsible for sharing a movie about vigilant violence. But here's the thing. Elon didn't make up the rape gangs. He didn't make up the fact that there are people coming into Western countries with beliefs that are anti-ethical to everything the West was built on. He didn't make up the crime statistics. He pointed out to the trends. He pointed to what's actually happening on the ground. And she tried to gaslight him like he doesn't know what he's talking about. And when she tried to call him racist, Elon shut that down quick. He said, my partner is half Indian. I have 4 children with her. My companies have senior executives of all races. Look at the people I employ. Look at what I actually do. Not the label you're trying to pin on me. And she still pushed. She asked if he was anti-Muslim. And Elon said, I'm against people coming into a country with anti-ethical views. I'm against rape and murder, and I'm against imposing rules and laws that go against what we accepted in the West. That's not racist, family. That's honest. That's looking at the data and saying something ain't right. So check it out.
I agree. No, I agree that the center of gravity in this country has shifted. Certainly, the Democratic Party shifted to the left. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people like Rupert Lowe. I'm
fringe
talking
right,
about
please.
people.
It's actually just normal people. It's just normal people. It's just normal people. And and here are the principles. And tell me which of these sound terrible. That we should have secure borders. That we should have safe cities. That we should have sensible spending. Which of those three are far right fringe?
No,
and I would like to just admonish you and the media for the absurd characterization of the far right. It is false and misleading and nonsense. Please keep this part in.
We'll keep all of this in. But let me
Don't cut this part.
Let me push back on that. Let me push back on that
because it is
you have
nonsense.
Elon, you have what is it? Close to 250 million followers on X.
Yeah,
you say things like,
popular guy.
Quote, civil war in Britain is inevitable. Just a question of when.
On the current trend, yes.
I mean, when were you last in the UK?
A few years ago.
Exactly. So I live there. I'm there the whole time. That is nonsense.
You live in a cloistered existence.
No, I don't, actually. And the numbers also disprove what you say.
What numbers?
All the numbers about crime. London is a much safer city than any city in the United States. Violent crime in the UK is not where you think it is. In fact, it's coming down. You have painted, and because you have so many followers, so many Americans believe it, a kind of view that Europe and the UK are kind of, overrun with terrifying Muslim immigrants. There's rape on every corner. There's a sort of civilizational destruction.
I haven't said any of those things. If you have a large and rapidly growing group of people whose beliefs are antithetical to Western beliefs, at some point there will be a reckoning. They will try to implement their views, and those who oppose it will oppose it, and that's what you call civil war. And obviously, this is the trend. And you absolutely do live in a cloistered existence. And if you'd like, we can go on a tour of Britain.
Sure. I'd be very happy to come on a tour of Britain.
And you will see for yourself.
You come see my country that I live in all the time, and you haven't been to a few years ago.
I've been there literally 100 times.
But when was the last time?
Literally a few years ago.
You know why this exercises me? Because you have really shaped opinion about the UK. And so many Americans I come across and I have conversations with, and I just had one the other day along the order of, oh, London's such a dangerous place. How can you know? There are sort of grooming gangs everywhere. There's violence everywhere. This is a picture that people get from things that you post or that are posted on X. And for example, you're posting for, what was it, 48 hours of Citizen Vigilante. That film, which, paints a dystopian, I've watched it.
Yes.
It was not fun. I watched it yesterday. It's not a very good movie. But it also paints a dystopian picture of Europe. And it glorifies vigilante violence. It glorifies the murdering of a Muslim immigrant family. I honestly think that it is irresponsible for you to put that up on X.
I think that it's a movie, and it's worth watching.
People say that you're a racist. What is the motivation for doing
Yes,
that?
I mean,
Are you
my
fomenting
partner is she's half Indian, and my and I have 4 children with her. You know, one of them was named after a famous Indian physicist. So I would say I'm not racist, and also if you look at the people that are employed at my companies, we have senior executives of all races. There's I don't think there's any racism there.
Are you anti-Muslim?
I am. I'm against having if people are coming to a country with antithetical views. I am against that. I'm against that. I'm against. I'm against rape and murder. I'm against the imposition of rules and laws that are contrary to what we've come to accept in the West. And I think it's a crying shame that the sort of traditional media, like you, don't recognize this.
Why should you be able to shape European politics? You don't even live there.
I think of it as the sort of the West collectively.
But do you see why this makes people think that this man who has all this power, he's the world's richest man, he thinks he has a right to influence our politics? It makes people, it's why, we started this conversation saying superlatives. It's why people loathe you. I mean, some people do loathe you.
Yes, some people do.
But do you understand why? Do you think what you're doing is helpful for Western democracy?
Maybe some people do loathe me. And that's probably true. I don't care. But the fact that, as you pointed out, 250 million people follow me is that I think a lot more people actually like me than don't. And I think a lot more people hate you and the media more than you realize.
All right, family. And here's what we need to understand from all of this. The media has spent years moving the line so far to the left that normal has become extreme, and wanting a secure border used to be bipartisan. You talk to any Democrat from the 90s, Bill Clinton was deporting people, building border security, talking about how illegal immigration was hurting American workers. Talk to Barack Obama, you seen he deported record numbers of people. Talk to Hillary Clinton, she talked about border security. But now, and if you say maybe we shouldn't have open borders, they call you far right. Now, and if you say maybe we should protect our kids from grooming gangs, they call you a conspiracy theorist. Now, and if you say maybe Western civilization is worth preserving, they call you a white nationalist. That's not what I'm saying. That's what individuals are saying and calling people as the overall sentiment of what's happening out there, in the world. That's not an accident. That's intentional. They do it because labels shut down conversation. And if they can call you a racist, you're supposed to sit down and shut up. And if they call you far right, you're supposed to feel ashamed. But what happens when the label doesn't work anymore? What happens when people start realizing that being called far right by the same people who defended grooming gangs, who defended open borders, who defended lawlessness in the streets, that's actually a compliment? And that's a question I'm asking you. Let me know in the comments. Comes off as a compliment, actually, right? And that's where we're at right now. That's why Elon could sit there and laugh at her, because he knows that the more they scream racist and far right, the more normal people realize they are on the right side of history. So let me tell you what the real lesson is here, family. The lesson is that you cannot trust these institutions to tell you the truth about anything anymore, and that Economist used to be considered a serious publication. This woman is the editor in chief, and she sat there and tried to tell the richest man in the world that crime in London isn't a problem, while her own government admitted to over 250,000 victims of grooming gangs. And she tried to tell him that the Overton window hasn't shifted when she's the one living proof that it has, right? She tried to make him feel crazy for pointing out obvious trends, and that's what they do to all of us, right? What you see and what she's doing, and they try to make you feel like you're the crazy one for noticing that things don't add up, basically. And they try to make you feel like you are extreme for wanting what every normal person wants: safety, security, a future for your kids, a country that still makes sense. But here's what I want you to take away from it. Don't let them gaslight you. When they call you a name, ask them what they mean. When they say far right, ask them to define it. And when they say racist, ask them to prove it. 9 times out of 10, they can't, because the label is the point. The label is the weapon. And once you stop being afraid of the label, they got nothing left. Now, let me leave you with some scripture because this ties in direct. Proverbs chapter 12, verse 17 says, "He who speaks truth tells what is right, but a false witness deceit." And Proverbs chapter 14, verse 25 says, "A truthful witness saves lives, but one who utters lies is treacherous." What Elon did in this interview was speak truth to power. He didn't get emotional. He didn't get loud. He just told the truth plainly, clearly, and let the truth do the work. And that's what we are called to do. The media has become a false witness. They bear false witness against people who disagree with them, and they distort, they exaggerate, they label, and they deceive. And the scripture is clear: a truthful witness saves lives. So when you tell the truth about what's happening in your community, in your country, in your schools, you're saving people from being deceived, and you're giving them the information they need to make good decisions, which is why I do the political commentary I do from a common sense basis, and which is why we're having this conversation right now in regards of this video. And let me know your thoughts in the comments. And for my non-spiritual family who might not care about the Bible, here's your life wisdom. The truth is the only thing that actually works in the long run. Lies have a shelf life. Labels have an expiration date. But the truth lasts. You can call a dog a cat all day long, but it's still going to bark. And you can call common sense a scream, but people are still going to look around and wonder why things don't feel right. Trust what you see with your own eyes. Trust what you know in your gut, and don't let anybody make you feel crazy for paying attention. So at the end of the day, the truth wins. It always does. Spread the peace, love, and positivity. Let the love supersede the hate, family. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.